Well, hey, Graystone Church family, it's Pastor Joe. I wanted to give you a little update since we are going to be starting in-person services this coming Sunday, June 21st at 8 o'clock and 11:30. And I wanted to give you a little bit of just an overview, what to expect when you show up. For one, you'll notice I'm wearing a mask. I plan on wearing a mask on Sunday morning, and a lot of people are going to as well. Some people are going to choose not to. We're kind of leaving this at your discretion, and so I want to make sure that you understand that it's not a requirement that we're putting in, but we are encouraging people to do so. The other thing is that it's going to be a little different in terms of how you get into the building, how we move through. There's going to be some systems and structures to help us, given just the unique circumstances of this time as we navigate the kind of closing out of this coronavirus pandemic. And so we've taken some precautions and some things, and I just wanted to help you understand sort of how flow is going to work on Sunday morning. So the first thing you need to know is that when you come in, the entrances to the sanctuary, the ones that are in the back of the sanctuary, are not going to be open. They're going to be open for people as we leave, but we're trying to focus people coming through in one entry point just to kind of help manage the flow of people and make sure that we can kind of keep a handle on everything as it's going through. So when you first come in, as you park in the parking lot, you're going to come into the entrance here at the Welcome Center, the one with the big sign that says Graystone on it. When you come to that entrance, both the doorway here will be open for you, as well as the entryway over here for the elevator is going to be available. So I'm going to give us a little walkthrough. If you need to use the elevator, that's going to be available, but also the entrance here, this is going to be your primary way to enter the building. So let's go ahead and we'll do a walkthrough so you can get a sense of what it is going to look like as we come into Graystone on Sunday morning. Just don't want you to be surprised. So here, as you enter into the building, you're going to see that the Welcome Center is pretty empty, as well as on top of that, we moved a lot of things because we didn't want people to be kind of lingering too long, just kind of makes it harder for things. We've also roped off certain sections of the building to ensure that people aren't kind of going too far out. One of the things that we're trying to do is to, as we're beginning to open, is to kind of contain where people are at, to make sure that we can account for where everybody has been so that we can clean sections appropriately and make sure that we're able to make this space as open as possible. As you can also see when you first come in, there's a hand sanitizing station, as well as there's a whole stack of disposable masks and some reusable ones that were made by some of the gals here at the church. So you can feel free if you didn't bring one or if you'd like to pick one up, you can pick one of those up here. The disposable ones are great because once the service is over, you can just put it right in the garbage. Don't have to worry about cleaning it. If you've been using a cloth mask, now might be a great time to give it a wash before you plan to come in on Sunday morning. The other thing is that here on the floor, you'll notice we have these social distancing markers, these spaces, because it's very possible there might be a little bit of a line Sunday morning just as people are coming in, since it is going to take a little bit more as people are coming into the building. If you can see that people are kind of stacked up by the door, if the weather's nice, you're welcome to wait in the line, kind of keeping a distance outside. But if it's kind of rainy or wet or just kind of yucky, maybe be prepared to wait in your car until the line kind of eases up and you can come into the building with ease. Just wanted you to know we're going to kind of be making a processional walking in to kind of help that process go clean. When you come down here to the end of the hallway, there's the entryway into the sanctuary that's right over here. There's going to be a leader right here who will basically be spreading out people so that folks will be going through about half on this side and half will be encouraged to go up the steps this way towards where the library is to enter the sanctuary on the other side. That way, the sanctuary fills up evenly, that we don't have like a ton of people on one side and nobody on the other, just to provide a little bit of order. So on this side, there will be, some folks will be sent through to head on into the sanctuary, while others will be asked to come over this way and head over the steps and into the sanctuary. So I figured we'll go ahead and walk this way. You can see there's a lot of space, so the line might kind of stretch back this way. We'll see how it goes. Again, all of these precautions are temporary. There's something that we are doing for this time to kind of try things out and see how it goes, and then as we continue, we'll adapt. So once you get over here, again, there's more sanitizing stations, and this is where the restroom is. This portion of the building is where the restroom facilities can be located. This bathroom is going to be the one that we're encouraging people to use over the course of the Sunday. There's a men's room and a ladies' room. The women's bathroom also has the changing table. And so if you do bring little ones who are in need of a diaper change, this is the place you're going to be going to. You'll notice again the stairwell leading down is closed off, and so we encourage you to stay within these contained sections. That just helps us to make sure that we can clean things so we know where folks have been, and since we're just opening up for the worship services, we want to keep it kind of clear that way. Once you come into the sanctuary, which it has been getting a wonderful clean just in the off time. The floor has never looked nicer, I think. But as you come in, there will be ushers here to direct you, either to go down the side aisle or to come down and go through the center aisle. And you'll notice here that there is tape on the pews. That tape is so that we could break down the pew space to organize it so that we can create space so that people can be separated, so that we're not all right up on top of each other, breathing each other's germs. So if there's a section with tape on it, the ushers are going to direct you in. They're going to be keeping track of the numbers that fit in each section. And if you see the tape with an X on it, don't sit in that section unless the usher kind of gives you the go-ahead to do so. If we got bigger groups that need to fit together, we're going to accommodate that as best we can to kind of keep families together, keep people connected, but also to make sure that we're spacing people appropriately. So during the service, you'll be invited to come to your spot, find your space to sit, and as I said, the bathroom on that side section is going to be available. Kind of be keeping a tab, making sure you're not stacking a whole bunch of people out there so it doesn't get too crowded, as well as the bathroom in the back of the sanctuary will be closed this Sunday, will not be available, as well as the family lounge downstairs will not be opened, just as we're trying to kind of carefully measure which portions open up over time. But we will revisit that if that's a need that we need to open up in the near future. So once you take your spot in your pew, when you get your seat, you'll see we've got the sanctuaries all set up here. Something you might notice in the pews is that all of the hymnals and the Bibles have been taken out. That's just something we want to reduce the number of hands that are coming into contact with all the materials here in the sanctuary. So all of the liturgy, the words, everything will be put up onto the screen for both of the services so that we'll be able to follow along and keep up with what's happening. Over the course of the service, we won't be having any programming for the children, although John will be continuing the kids' moment. But for the time being, we're going to encourage children who are present to listen in from a distance, but not to come up to the stage right away. That's something we'll hopefully be able to be doing real soon. But for the time being, the service will be a part of prayers and of hearing and coming under the scripture and having a time to come together as a whole. Songs are going to be a little different. Just for the immediate future, we're going to have a song leader who will be singing with some music. That is going to be happening from the front, but we are inviting the congregation to worship in their hearts, in spirit and in truth. But because of the airborne nature and of the virus, we're going to hold off on congregational singing just for the time being. And I know that is a big bummer. It's a bummer for me too, but just because of the nature of a room of this size and ventilating and the nature of the virus, it really is just the wise decision we felt we had to come to just for the time being. Again, all of these restrictions, they are temporary, and our hope is to be able to lift them at a measured pace over time. So once you come into the sanctuary, we'll be having the service. Service is going to be a little shorter than usual, just because of some of the elements that we're keeping together, as well as just reducing the time that we're in the space. And then once the service concludes, John is going to encourage folks to stand up. Our ushers will be dismissing the aisles row by row and then be able to head out the back. As you come to the back of the aisle, we will not be taking an offering in the same way. We're not going to be passing a plate, but there will be boxes attached onto the pews in the back of the sanctuary. And so you will be able to deposit an offering physically by dropping it into a box on your way out of the building. There also will be a box by the entryway so that you can put it in as you're coming in. So you can be prepared for that if you'd like to. Or if you still want to continue to mail in a gift, or perhaps to give online still at graystonepc.org/give, you can continue to do so. But the space is getting prepared for you. We are working real hard to make sure that it all comes together, that it is ready for you in all sorts of different ways. And we are excited to see your face. One of the things that's so difficult about coming together, or not coming together for so long, is that we just miss being with each other. And so we are excited to see your faces, to pray with you, to spend time coming together under God's Word. And we look forward to the time when there are not restrictions to doing this. We recognize this is inconvenient. This time is complex, and we are trying to do our best to serve not only our people, but our community as we enter into this time. And so we're excited to come back together. We hope you're excited too. The services will continue to be posted online. This coming week, the service will be recorded at 8 o'clock, and then it will be posted right afterwards. Provided nothing goes wrong, that will be the plan. If we need to, we'll recalibrate and we'll record the second service and then post that after the fact. But we're working on how to make that the most functional to allow people who are not yet ready to return or who have underlying conditions that make it a higher risk than they're really ready to take. And so we wanted to encourage people to be able to be here if they can, but also that if you're not ready to do that, that's okay. That you are welcome to continue to worship at home and continue to be connected to this family. Because as I've said since the beginning, the church never closed. The building did. The church has continued because God has called us as a people, not just as a group of people who gather in a particular place, but as a people who follow Him in this community. And so whether or not you can be here, we're excited to worship together, and we hope that we can see you sometime soon. God bless, and I'll see you on Sunday, hopefully.